Hello everybody, I am going to be doing something completely different today. I'm playing around with some alcohol ink, some Yupo paper, and then at the end of the video I will be using the backgrounds to create these cards. So I have no idea what I'm doing with the alcohol inks and the Yupo paper. This is completely new to me, but I love it. I'm so obsessed. So first I'm going to create all of the backgrounds and walk you through what I did for the backgrounds, and then again at the end of the video I will be showing you how I created the cards. This video is a lot longer than my previous videos, so be sure to go grab a snack or a drink or something, or you can just craft along, whatever you prefer. I found this process very relaxing, and I wasn't even going to film it just because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I didn't even know if I would turn all of the clips and everything into a video. But I thought that me trying something new and my inexperience maybe might inspire somebody else to try something new. I think it's important from time to time to try something new, or try a new color palette or a new technique, anything to get those creative juices going and to step out of your box, because I think that's what helps us grow as creators and crafty people. If you like this type of video where I'm just playing around with products and trying something new, give this video a thumbs up so I know to make more. All of the supplies that I can fit in the description box on YouTube will be down below. Everything else will be over on my website, so be sure to check it out. I don't think that everything that I've used in the video will fit in the description box, so I'm going to try to fit as much as I can, and the supplies that I'm using on the cards at the end of the video most likely will be over on my website. So if you're looking for what I used on the cards, then that's where it will be. So again, I am just playing around and I have no idea exactly how to do this, but it really honestly is really simple to do. So I have the Yupo paper, and I do have some watercolor paper down under that, just because I felt it was thick enough to absorb that alcohol ink, just in case some of it bled off of the paper. So I just drop the alcohol ink onto the paper, and then I add the alcohol solution, the blending solution from Ranger. And I think people have used regular rubbing alcohol, so you don't have to buy the expensive blending solution if you don't want. Here is just a sample of the card that I will be making at the end of the video using this particular alcohol ink background that I'm doing here. So again, I put the alcohol ink down, and then I put the blending solution, and then I am just using the straw to kind of blow it around and kind of make it go where I want. And I decide that I wanted a little bit more of that yellow orangey color. So I think, let me see the colors. So the blue is Mermaid, and then the orange is Peach Bellini, I believe. Like I said, all of these supplies will be listed down below. So I continue to add the alcohol ink, and then if I feel like it needs to be spread out a little bit more or mixed in a little bit more, the colors need to be mixed a little bit more, then I'll add the blending solution. And I did use my Ranger heat tool to move around some of the color to here and there. And here is another card that I will be making at the end of the video using this particular background. And again, I'm just going back in with more color, and then when you add more color, if you don't want it that concentrated, then you're going to want to add more of the blending solution, which is just alcohol, and it just makes it easier for all of the colors to mix around. In this video, I think I do 4 different backgrounds. 2 this color scheme, 1 like a red and orange, and then the last one is like a purple ish color. So I'm not going to walk you through each and every one just because it's basically the same process. But I will walk you through the last one because I did do it a little bit different than I am these other ones here. So you could see I added a ton of the blending solution, and then I'm just spreading it around with the heat tool. So I've seen this from Corin Wiskman, and I didn't realize that in her video she actually added more adhesive to her alcohol background before adding the gilding flakes, but I was just kind of playing around at this point. I knew that there was going to be little bits here and there that were sticky enough for the gilding flakes to adhere to, and so that's why I didn't add any adhesive. But I went back to her video and then I realized that, oh hey, she put adhesive down. So if you want to check her video out, I will link it in the upper right hand corner because she has some amazing card videos. So alright, so the gilding flakes, I love them, but as you could see, they are messy. I think the amount of hate I have towards the mess is probably more than the Ken Oliver Color Burst. Probably. Maybe a smidge more. I don't know what it is. I can create mixed media, messy projects, but just when things make a mess like that, it bugs me. I don't know. All right, so I will walk you through a little bit of this one. I added 2 lines basically, and then I added a little bit of the blending solution. I wanted a little bit more controlled, I guess, top, the bluish bottom. I think that's actually lettuce, the color lettuce. And I tried to find the products where you can purchase them, but I think because everybody is on this alcohol ink craze right now, they are really hard to find. So I think the best place, honestly, to get them is probably Michael's or Hobby Lobby, especially because you can use a coupon. So with that out of the way, if you don't have access to a Hobby Lobby or any kind of craft store that carries them, where you can actually go to, then I think Amazon is another good place where you can purchase them as well if you're looking for them. And I know that people use photo paper, which I think is probably a little bit cheaper than the Yupo paper. I'm definitely going to give that a try next just to see how it works. But again, I'm just adding the color, adding the blending solution, and then moving it around with the straw. You can see me picking up the paper, kind of moving it around just to kind of get a little bit more flow going. You definitely don't have to do that. I have seen people use like a Lazy Susan to move around the paper, or I think some people are even doing it on canvases and using the Copic marker refills to do this. And I actually just purchased some so that I can give it a try. I'm guessing it's going to be about the same, and I think you get more and it's a little bit cheaper. So I'll definitely have to show you guys that. So here is some Prima foil. You don't have to add any adhesive. You don't have to run it through any special type of machine or anything like that. And this particular one, I don't think they make anymore, but they do have, this one's Golden Girl. The other one is Sunshine, I believe. I think I have it linked down below. So it just is sticking to the sticky parts from the alcohol. So I am just going to play some music for the next couple backgrounds. I hope you guys enjoy the process, and I will be back shortly. this background, again, I'm using the Yupo paper, and this color is Cool Pearl, Peri, P-E-R-I, I think. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't tell if it's an I or an L, but I think it's an I. It's a really cool purple color. As it spreads out, it gives me kind of like blues and pinks and like lighter shades of purple. And I really like this technique, using the alcohol blending solution first and then putting the alcohol ink on. I think it creates a more subtle look rather than more concentrated colors like the first backgrounds I did. I think this one is probably my favorite background. I still cannot believe how many different colors I got just using the one color. And I wonder if maybe that's because I added the alcohol or the blending solution first and not the color first. All right, so I am going to start now creating the cards. The first card I'm going to create, I'm going to die cut some feathers out. These are from Spellbinders, from Stephanie Lowe's line, Good Vibes. And all of her dies and stamps and dies sets and everything are just, I love them all. If you don't follow her on Instagram, be sure to check her out. She's always posting her different artwork and things she's working on and things like that. She's super inspiring. Her artwork is just amazing. So anyway, so I die cut those out and I use my little tool-in-one to get all the little pieces out. Because this paper is kind of like plastic, I did have to run it through the die cut machine a few times, but as you could see, it cut it out perfectly. So I wanted to keep these cards pretty simple. I wanted the backgrounds that I created using the alcohol inks to be more of a focal point. So I'm just using some Distress Oxide ink in Wild Honey, I believe. I just wanted a little bit of color so that those feathers popped. They are very intricate and have some really cool designs on them, so I definitely wanted them to stand out. And then I just had this little wood veneer piece from Kaiser Craft, and it says BU. I did use some white embossing powder on that just so that it stood out a little bit. All right, so I'm just using my Tonic Deluxe adhesive. I love this stuff. It works really well for so many different things. And I just kind of placed them together, the feathers together. And I decided that I wanted a little bit of splattering in the back. So what I love about oxide ink, when you add water, like little splatters of water, and then you kind of splotch it off, it creates a really cool effect in the background. So just a little subtle interest and something else for the card. Like I said, I definitely wanted the elements from the backgrounds that I created to stand out more than anything else. So I just added that wood veneer piece there, and that's going to complete the card. I did add some cardstock in the center of it just to give a more stable card base. And here is the second card. I used the same background and cut out some of these butterflies, again from Stephanie Lowe, from her Good Vibes Only line. You can find the dies on Amazon, scrapbook.com, Spellbinders website, all sorts of different places, and she has so many different ones and they're all amazing. And I just decided that I wanted to create a similar look as I did for the first one, so I'm just adding a little bit of that Distress Oxide ink, and then I will go in with a little bit of water splatter, pick it up just to create a little bit more interest for the background. This one is a little bit simpler. I just add the 3 butterflies. No sentiment. I didn't even realize that I didn't put a sentiment on there until I was editing the video. Even when I took the pictures, I didn't even realize that I didn't put a sentiment on there. But sometimes it's good to just to have a general card that you can kind of send to for any occasion. All right, and there is my AC again. It keeps going on and off. I apologize. I know most people it doesn't bother them, but some people it might. But it is so hot outside. It was, I think I said it already, 110 degrees today. So crazy. So again, I'm just using the tonic adhesive, and I'm just placing those butterflies. And this one, I think it comes with 2 different butterflies, so you can kind of play around with the different butterflies if you decide to make a card like this one, and that's going to complete that card. And here is the 3rd card. This one is super simple, and I have been wanting to use the snarky phrases from Tim Holtz, so I decided just to put one on there. But first, what I did was I cut out another feather. Then what I'm doing is I am just adding a little bit of adhesive because I wanted to add more of the, I think I use the Prima foil. I don't use the gilding flakes. I use the Prima foil. And on this background, I did add, I think this was the one where I didn't add gilding flakes to it, so it didn't have any gold on it actually. But anyway, so this is super simple to do. All you have to do is just kind of push it on where the adhesive is, and you could see that it gives a nice cool look. So again, I just add the little snarky sentiment, sorry I'm late, but I didn't want to come. And then I'm just showing you the 3 cards. I thought I was done, but I decided that I wanted to create a couple more cards. All right, here is the next card. It just says, hello, you are beautiful. I use quite a few different supplies and companies on this card. This stencil is from Studio Katia. I absolutely love this stencil, but as you can see, I have to pounce on the color instead of blending it on just because it's so intricate. I did not want to mess this stencil up. I ordered it from Studio Katia's website from Canada, so it did take quite a while, but you can get this from Hutson.com if you don't want to wait quite that long to get the products. So I am using Fire Brick, and this is the Wild Honey, I believe. And I kind of wanted to mimic the colors in the die cuts from the background that I created with the alcohol inks. And now what am I doing? Oh, I'm just kind of blending out a little bit more color on. I didn't like the stark white in the back, so as you can see, I just kind of blended a little bit of that red and then a little bit of that yellow on there. Again, just to give the card a little bit more color. And then I'm going to attempt to make the hello straight. I think this was probably the hardest part just because I don't like to measure. I don't really most of the time care if things are perfectly straight, but I felt this had to be pretty close to straight just because it's so big on the card, I think. And I almost decided to put hey, you're beautiful, but then I just went with hello. I know it's kind of, it takes up a lot of the